Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the book Refuge and welcome to my first book haul of 2021. So I think I mentioned this in another video, but I did actually miss a book haul because I filmed it, and I keep everything on this book cart until I have filmed the haul, whether I do a live show or whatever, and then I put everything back on the shelves or put them away. And in this case, I filmed one, and it is one of the only videos, it's one out of like 2 videos of my entire booktubing career that I just did not like how I did it, and I didn't like how I was talking, and I was just spaced out, and so I deleted that. So we did miss a few from that one, but some of them are ones I'm using for Stepbacks Saturdays, so you'll eventually see them in there, and you know, but it happens. And I rarely throw footage away because I don't really mind if I have a, you know, if I flub a little bit or I'm not wearing makeup that day. Like, I don't usually scrutinize a video on like how I look or talk. But this one was just really bad, and I was just like, you know what? Just dump it. And so I did. But we do have about 50 books to do in a book haul, and these are all, there's some books I bought at the end of December, but I started putting them in my new spreadsheet. So I'm considering them January. There was still some presents coming in from people, as well as on my way back home from my family Christmas, I stopped at my favorite bookstore and stocked up. And then there are also some Abe Books haul, as well as some thrift book haul. I don't know if you've ever heard of those. Some people ask me like where I get a lot of my used books, and I do have a few stores that I go to, but the online sources I like to use that pull from used bookstores, and most of them are like small owned that put some of their inventory onto these websites. So there's thrift books. You do have to be careful with both of these if you don't want to end up with library copies. Like, you need to double check, because thrift books, sometimes they tell you and sometimes they don't. And with Abe Books, I can usually discover if they are or not, but just keep in mind, sometimes I don't mind if a book is a library copy, but when I'm getting it for Stepbacks Saturday, I really don't want it to be, because the stickers are usually in the worst places. So let's start with some of the, not all of these are like new releases, but they were like new purchases and or gifts that I got. And let's kind of go through some of those. I don't have the notes with all of these, but some of them I do. So I'll try to remember who gave them to me. Generally, when I get a gift, I put it on my Instagram who gave it to me, and I do it immediately so that I don't forget, because one of the things that happened in the last haul is that I had a lot of Christmas gifts, and I had already like taken pictures and like shouted people out, but I didn't keep the notes with them. And so when I was trying to do this haul, I just felt really stupid that I couldn't remember who they belonged to. So if you see a book that you gave me, I probably shouted you out on Instagram, or I messaged you on Discord to say thank you. So I'm sorry if it's not a shout out in this video, but I am very appreciative of all the gifts, and I hope that I already said thank you for them. So that being said, let's kind of dive in, because I do know who some of these ones were from because I put the notes in them. So I did get a couple gifts from Tara, who, Tara, I was on her podcast just recently. It's called Read My Lips, and it is a dark romance podcast. The first episode just went up, and I was her inaugural guest, which was just so sweet. I ramble for like 2 hours straight, but I will link that down below. And she sent me a couple books, and again, I don't know where the other one is, but this one I put the note inside of it. And so I am trying to collect some Jennifer McQuiston books. There's also another one of these I got as a gift. So this one is The Perks of Loving a Scoundrel, and it's just really beautiful. I actually like the spine cover for my bookshelf that has the colors. That's one of the reasons I like to get these book hauls done, so that I can do that. But this one is from Tara, and she was just like, thanks for joining the podcast, and I hope that we do it again someday. So I got this one from her. Thank you so much, sweetie. I love it. Then these couple, I got these ones from Lourdes, who sent them to me. Let me find, I know this one has a note in it. One of them is a Jade West, which we both read Jade West and love her. So this is Heartless. The second one to this is this is kind of like a mafia, enemies to lovers. There's some degradation involved in it as well, so keep that in mind. But it's super sexy. The light streak right on my face. Here we go. So this is the first one. The covers of these are going to be so beautiful. This color for Soulless is even prettier. It's so beautiful. So there's that. Then she also sent me, these are historical paranormals. I believe they're vampire books. So this one is After Midnight, and this one is The Vampire Who Loved Me. Those look very exciting to me. Then I have What a Wallflower Wants. And then I got this sent to me from Crystal. Crystal sent me a beautiful package. One of them was also my signed edition of The Duke and I, which had the movie tie-in, which is absolutely gorgeous. I did a whole, like, secret unboxing for that one that I don't know if I'm going to post. It is available to my channel members who had gifted it to me, because some of these I'm talking about, I opened them in that, and it was just so personal and beautiful that I just don't know if I'm going to share it for everyone. But in this, she gave me this copy. It is the same as Dark and Stormy Night, Night with a K, and it is the 7th book in the Victorian Rebels, and it's also the first book in the Good Girls. And so I have a Dark and Stormy Night cover, but I didn't have this one, and Crystal wants the Dark and Stormy Night cover, which we're still trying to find one of those for her. But she sent me this, which I'm so happy, because all of this series is going to have the girls in pretty dresses, and I just love Caregiver. I'm slowly making my way through her entire backlist, and I'm having a great time. There's actually a book club going to be being done for the Victorian Rebels soon, now that Binging Bridgerton is done, and that's really exciting. Crystal also sent me the only copy of East that I don't own yet. East is my favorite book. It is my favorite book ever written, guys. It is. And it is a middle grade fantasy romance. It is based on the myth East of the Sun and West of the Moon, the fairy tale. It is just absolutely a beautiful story. I've been reading it since I was 13 years old. And I have 4 different copies of it, and the only one I don't have is this one. And so she sent me this. This one was the re-release cover because it matched the sequel, West, which I hated the sequel, but I love having another copy of this. Like, I'll take all the copies of East because it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Then I was also sent as a gift by a viewer. They sent me Bitter Heat by Mia Knight. They said this was one of their favorite books this year. I'm excited to read this, but I'm also a little nervous because I discovered, like, just doing some research on it to decide if I want to read it, that the sequel doesn't come out until March. So I may wait to read it until then because it does have a cliffhanger from what I've read. I didn't peek or anything. But I'm very excited. I love this cover, this like burning butterfly. And I believe this is she gets stuck in a remote cabin with her ex-husband. And she feels like she doesn't even really know him anymore. And I think it's kind of like a thriller. But it might still be pretty sexy too. So I don't know. I like really want to read it because I think it's dark. Ooh, yes. Here we go. This is from Kira. I did leave a note in this one. I turned the first page and wasn't there. And she was just so sweet by sending it to me, and so I definitely want to get to it. I just might wait till closer to the second one, Kira, so that I won't have to wait with a cliffhanger, but we'll see. Cliffhangers haven't been as big of a deal to me since I have so many books to choose from, but still, when I really love a book and then I'm just like, can't finish the series, I just hate that. Then I spoiled myself, and my dear friend Jessin from Jessin Reads Romance, she started reading Sam Mariano because of lots of recommendations for Untouchable. Untouchable is one of my favorite books last year, but Sam Mariano also has a lot of other books, including a pretty extensive Mafia collection. And I convinced Jessin to read the Mafia series, which she had mixed feelings about, which is totally fine, I understand. But I really loved it, and listening to her read them made me buy some of them. So this is kind of funny. So this is actually the first book in the series, Accidental Witness. And then this is books 5, 6, and 7. And so I'm not going to tell you why the ones I wanted to purchase were 1, 5, 6, and 7. Because the first 4 books in the stories all are like individual love stories. But this is a series that like you need to read it in order. And they're not standalones, even though the first 4 are about different couples. It is a very linear story, and that story that gets started in this one, it is continued in 2, 3, and 4, but it really picks back up in 5 through 7. And since I've read them all, I started by buying myself these. I had some Amazon gift cards, and so I purchased these. I just love it so much. Like, she doesn't even tell you anything else but names on the back. I just love San Mariano. She's so twisted. I just read one of her other books, which is called The Imperfections, and I'm just like, this woman is so unique. I love it so much. I love her so much. Then, the next Mafia series that I hope Justin is going to read is the Born in Blood series and the Kimura Chronicles. And so I have most of the Kimura Chronicles, but I don't have the new covers of the Born in Blood. Wow, I can't talk. So I have Bound by Honor. This is Luca and Aria. And this one is Dante and Valentina. And so I'm collecting these new ones. I just love the colors of these. I do have a couple of these books in the old covers, and I'm probably going to need to get the new ones because these covers are gorgeous. They're just freaking beautiful. Look at the inside of that one. What's this one? Inside of this one. So they're just gorgeous. I have to have it. I really, really appreciate her. It was the first like Mafia series that I really was connected with everyone so much, and I loved it. Loved it so much. All right, now we're going to kind of go through... Oh, wait, I have the new releases. Sorry. Halt. These are the ones that... There's a couple new releases in here, as well as new purchases for me. So I bought a finished copy of The Princess and the Rogue, which is the third book in the Bow Street Bachelor series by Kate Bateman. I actually read an arc of this way back in, like, September. And this is an Anastasia retelling. And after some, like, crappy stuff happens in her to her family, she ends up running away and going undercover as like a companion, and she ends up being a companion to our hero's I think it's his mother. And when he starts asking questions about her, she ends up going under his roof, under his protection. And so then it is kind of a forced proximity. I know that I have only read this one in the series. Here, let's do a close-up. It's so pretty. It's absolutely beautiful. Ugh. It's so pretty. True love wears no disguises. So I had to have a finished copy. I do plan to read the first 2 books in the series very soon because I know that a lot of people loved those as well, but I highly recommend this, and I had to get a finished copy of it when it came out. Then I also got Her Wicked Marquess by Stacey Reed Marquis. I'm very excited to read this. I loved My Daring Duke. I ordered a copy of My Darling Duke, but it was like back ordered, so I'm still waiting for that one to show up. And I just love the dress. I love the cleavage on this one. I know Justin just read this one and she didn't like it as much as My Darling Duke, but what's so fun about it is how the Dukes like react, how the men react to the women and the situations they're in this series is so interesting. And I'm very excited to continue. Maybe I'll get to this one during the romance readathon. I'm not sure. I'm not making a separate TBR for the readathon, but I'm going to do a reading vlog for it, since most of my TBR, which is actually just right behind us right here, most of my TBR for January is already historical romance. So I didn't feel like making a separate TBR video for that when I'm just going to try to read as many of my books as I can. But this is one I might add in to get to because I want to read it when it's still new. Then some others these aren't new releases, but I bought the books brand new. So I picked up The Orchid Throne and The Fiery Crown. I had been looking at The Orchid Throne for actually, like, since it came out. I think this came out in 2019. Let me check. Yeah, and I have picked it up so many times and never actually read it yet, but I believe it's a fantasy romance, and it's about this queen and she has to do an arranged marriage. And I mean, this one, it's still about the same couple, so I assume they're going through some struggles. And so, I mean, nothing is going to compare to A Heart of Blood and Ashes for fantasy romance, but we have to let some things try. So when I get in the mood for fantasy romance again, I want to give these ones a go and see how they live up to my feels. So we'll see what happens. Then I also picked up 3 Weeks to Be Wed by Ella Quinn. This is the first book in the Worthington series, which actually has a bunch of books out already, because I think this one came out in, this one came out in 2016, and I believe there are 8 siblings. It's a big family. And so this one is about the oldest sister, and she is, okay, so if she gets married, she might lose the guardianship of the 7 other siblings of hers. And so she doesn't want to risk it, but she does want to have a tryst with someone before she is going to live out her life as a spinster. And of course, she ends up meeting an earl, and yeah, I'm excited. And so then they're going to end up being like the head of this family or whatever. This was actually only $4.99, and it was at Barnes & Noble. And I almost bought all the rest of the sibling books that were there, but I decided I for once would show restraint, because I've never read an Ella Quinn, and I've never read one of this series, but I thought it was beautiful. All the covers are really beautiful. This also is a ripped bodice, so this could be good for the Romance Takeover Readathon. And it also has like a shirtless man on the cover. So, I don't know. I really like zebra romances. They're just as good as any other to me. And yeah. I got Never Seduce a Scot by Maya Banks. This is one of my friend Avery, one of her favorite reads of 2020. And I also have been really hooked on Scottish romances right now. I actually just did a recommendation video for them. And I also want to read some Maya Banks. And so I just thought this one would be a good place to start. I know this has a mute heroine. She's considered to be like fae. She's taught herself to read lips but allows everyone else to view her as daft. But when an arranged marriage to a rival clan, makes someone her husband, she accepts her duty, unprepared for the delights to come. And then the hero, I guess, he has a voice that's so deep that she can hear it. And I don't know, it just seems so romantic. And Avery loved it. And so I am very amped to read this. I will probably get to it soon, because like I said, I'm on a Highlander kick, and I'll show you even more of them in just a minute, that I've been purchasing up Highlander books because I just love them. They're just a little bit wild for being historicals. You know, they got a little bit of wild in them, and I like that. I'm a sucker for it. I also picked up Highland Hellion, which is the 3rd book in the Highland Weddings. I have Highland Spitfire and Highland Vixen. I've only read the first one, but I really loved it. I know my friend Tamika from Library of Tomes really loved it. And yeah, I'm really excited. I think I've met a lot of these characters already too in the first one, because we got to read a lot of the family. And so I really enjoyed this. So there's another Scottish one. Then this one is called Love is Blind, which I actually had my eye on it, and then I saw it recommended. I can't remember if Lacey recommended it. I'm not sure. I could be making it up. But I had already had my eye on this because I like whenever there's like blindness or deafness or something in a historical specifically, because I like to see how they deal with that. But in this one, it's just the case that she needs glasses really bad. Like she can't see, and when she like makes a debut, her stepmother has like forbidden her to wear her glasses so that she'll look prettier and get more suitors, and she just like can't see without them. So I think that's really cute. And so she ends up dancing with this guy who's actually a pretty dangerous person, and he's actually been warned that she's dangerous because she stomps on people's toes and like has set things on fire, and it's because she can't see without her glasses. So I don't know, I think it's really cute. And I know she's not actually blind, but like what would that be like back then, like when glasses weren't as accepted? And if you can't see, like I was legally blind before I had my LASIK surgery last year. And so I couldn't drive or even like see to put my makeup on without my contacts in. So I can't imagine trying to live life back then if you had such horrible eyesight. It almost would be like you're blind. I mean, I'm not saying that to be like a, you know, there are people who actually can see nothing, but I just know how helpless I felt like when my glasses have fallen off and I couldn't see anything. And so it would be a kind of blindness if someone was telling you couldn't wear your glasses just because. So I think that's really interesting. I could see it leading to some really fun situations. So I'm very excited to give this one a try. Lindsay Sands is an author I plan to read for the first time in January because I'm actually doing a buddy read with my friend Avery for it. So I'm pretty excited. Next, I have some more Megan Framptons that I picked up. I believe a couple of these were gifts, but again, I don't have the notes with me for all of them. I got The Duke's Guide to Correct Behavior, which I think between this one and getting No Groom at the Inn, I now have the complete Duke's Behaving Badly series, which is the only series that I was missing any books from. I have read one complete series by Megan Frampton, The Duke's Daughters, and I love it. Megan Frampton, her books are fun and light and sexy, and I want to read all of them. This one's also one of the it's one of the floppy ones, which I like. So I am very excited to continue reading her. And then I also have, here's the other one too. And then I also have Put Up Your Duke, which I got this one off of Abe Books. So I believe is these three. I now own all the Megan Framptons. So we'll see. Then, as I was saying with the Scottish romances, I'm continuing to purchase Donna Fletcher's books. I'm actually just about to start this book. This is the fourth and final book in the Sinclair Brothers series. I've been reading that I read it through December and January. I'm so excited about this one. Gosh, this one has a ripped bodice on it too, but I can't wait until later to read it. But this is about the Sinclair brothers who... The guy that this one's about, he's been missing for the first 3 books, and so I'm so excited to read this. It's him and a barbarian princess, I believe. And he's gonna, like, get revenge against her for what her, like, family has done to him and everything, and I'm so stoked about it. But the other books by her I got is, look at this gorgeous cover. This is Loved by a Warrior, which is part of the Warrior King series, which I don't know anything about, but I'm slowly collecting it. Because the first one in that series is the Bound to a Warrior, which is the really sexy cover. And I'm very, very excited to continue reading to read more Donna Fletcher, because I have loved this series so much. I love her books. They're so much fun. And then I also got The Highlander's Bride. She has that same saying used a lot because she has, I think this one might be her first book. Is this her debut? No, it must not be. No, it isn't. But she has The Highlander's Bride, The Highlander's Forbidden Bride, The Highlander's Secret Bride. She has a lot of those, but this one's absolutely gorgeous. I love the scenery on the covers of these ones. Gosh. But I'm really glad that I'm liking Donna Fletcher too, because that was the risk, right? Is that I was purchasing all of her books for the covers and I had no idea if I would like them. And then thankfully, I have really liked everything so far. The first 3 that I've read. Oops. Also, I'm continuing to collect Vanessa Kelly, which I've read 2 of hers and they were both really good. One was a 5-star, great, and the other one was like a 4-star. Could have been a little bit better for me, but I love her titles and what her books seem to be about, so I keep purchasing them, and it's happening. So this one is one of her first books. So this one is My Favorite Countess. So she's this difficult and demanding, quite fierce woman, and Dr. John Blackmore can't take his eyes off her. The Countess of Randolph is the most striking woman he's ever seen, and the most infuriating patient he has ever had. Mired in responsibility, Bathsheba doesn't have time to convalesce in the country. She should be in London, hunting for a wealthy new lover to pay off her late husband's debts, not dallying with a devastatingly handsome doctor. So that sounds amazing. Then I have 3 more books from the Renegade Royals, which I'm trying to collect all of those. So I have How to Plan a Wedding for a Royal Spy. These books are just so beautiful. I have Confessions of a Royal Bridegroom. See, her books are so big. And then this one is the 5th book in the series. It's a novella. And it was self-published. And this one's The Buccaneer Duke. This is a Renegade Royal as well. Which I guess from the note that this is about a character that everyone loved so much that she gave a, like, little sequel to. So that's cute. All right, now we're getting on to just like all of the used ones that I got. A couple of these I have multiples of the author, specifically Victoria Alexander, who again is an author I really want to read in 2021 because I just keep collecting her beautiful books. So this one is called The Wedding Bargain, and this is the back of this one. This one says, London's most scandalous beauty longed to marry a hero, and the ton's most eligible rogue was determined to prove that he was one. That's so cute. Why do people write their phone numbers in their books? Like, why? I don't get it. This one actually has The Duke and I listed inside of it. Coming soon, The Duke and I. That is crazy. That's awesome. Okay, then I have When We Meet Again, which is just pretty. I love his lock of hair. It was a night she'd never forget with a man she'd never see again, or so she believed. So in this one is Prince Alexei of Avalonia is a master at the art of seduction. But when a mysterious young woman he meets at a masked ball spends the night in his bed, he finds he is touched in ways he cannot forget. And her name is Pamela. That's a cool name for a historical. So there's that. Then I have The Perfect Mistress. This one has a lounge, a chase lounge. Lighting is all over the place for this. And this one, oh my god, it's so sexy. The Seduction of a Proper Gentleman. Just luscious. I like the front of this one. That's beautiful. She would offer him anything to save her family, her heart, her mind, her body. It's pretty. All right, here we go. Let's look at some pretty covers. Ooh, that's right. I found 2 Eloise James that I didn't have. I got Kiss at Midnight, which is the Cinderella retelling. This one is gorgeous. These, the Eloise James are all books I'm recollecting because I used to have all of hers. And while I kept my Julia Quinn, I foolishly traded in my Eloise James because there was a time in my life where I was moving a lot, and so the only historical romance collections that I kept were my Catherine Coulter and my Julia Quinn, but I didn't love all of them. I just couldn't keep them all at the time. But then I have the Ugly Duchess, which is the Ugly Duckling retelling. So very happy to have the rest of the her fairy tale collection because those were the 2 I was missing. Then, here we go. So I got a Virginia Henley, Undone, which someone just did this one for Stepbacks Saturday. Virginia Henley has great Stepbacks. Don't Bargain with the Devil. This is Sabrina Jeffries, The School of Heiresses. This one has got some leg love right there. Whoop. Elaine Kaufman, The Highlander. This was my most recent Stepbacks Saturday. Sexy Highlanders. Rebel Baron by Cheryl Henneke. This one I actually mostly got for the description because it is an older woman, which says, to survive in the cutthroat world of Victorian high finance, wealthy widow Miranda Auburn hid her femininity behind a facade of cold calculation. Her only womanly emotions were reserved for her daughter, whose fondest wish was to marry a peer, a younger man. Brandon Carruthers had hoped to put the lost cause of the Confederacy behind him when he traveled to London to become Baron Rushcroft. But the only way to salvage his impoverished estate was to marry an heiress. A business proposal. The transaction Miranda proposed seemed to suit all involved, a huge loan in exchange for making her daughter a baroness, until Brant found himself craving the mother instead, even if it caused a private civil war, he vowed to take the right woman to bed. So I was super drawn in by the older woman line of this, and I really want to try this book. Even though I think he was part of the Confederacy, which we'll see what the reasoning for the author is, because I'm still willing to try it. A rebel, stranger of Arms of a Stranger, just beautiful. No other reason, just gorgeous. Liz Carlisle, in love with a wicked man, which someone also just recently did for Stepbacks Saturday. Has she lost her heart to London's most infamous rogue? Margaret Moore, Kiss Me Quick. This one just was so... I just loved the colors. And I also liked what it said on the back. A wanton innocent. The instant Lady Diana Westover spies Edmund Tarrington, Viscount Adderley, across a crowded room. The lovely sheltered miss believes she found the man she's been searching for. Though she knows nothing of men, Diana longs to pen a romantic novel. So she resolves to study the darkly handsome, scandalously seductive lord's every move, to experience the pleasures of his soft kisses and sensual caresses, all in the name of research. I just loved how that one looked. All right, then I have Above All Others by Karen Rainey. I just grabbed this one because it seemed to be a pretty old Karen Rainey, 1996. I like the curtains. This doesn't have a step back. It's just a front. Scandal to Remember by Linda Needham. And this one on the back has this. And this one says, it would be completely scandalous for a royal princess to give her heart to a mere English nobleman. So this one's a princess one. Madeline Hunter, Chase the Wind. I love the horse on the front cover of this one. And then there's this inside. But I had to. The horse, man. Even though this, like, looks like it could be questionable, the cover is too beautiful to pass up. I have to do it. Candace Camp, Treasured. I grabbed this one because it is a Scottish one. She is, like, that's a sexy look right there. It reminded me kind of a Sarah McLean cover, but I haven't read a Candace Camp either. The Sorcerer's Lady. So this one is a time travel one, but it seems super interesting because it's the man who time travels to the future. So it's a Victorian debutante, and her aunt does a spell that conjures a man from Laura's dream, and it's a half-naked barbarian who ends up on her library floor, and he's an accomplished sorcerer who's traveled through the ages to reach his soulmate and the bewitching woman who has captured his heart. But Beacon Hill wasn't 9th century Ireland, and Connor's powers were useless if he couldn't convince Laura that love was stronger than magic and that she was destined to become his lady. So this seems fascinating. I still haven't read one of these like sci-fi historicals, but this one just seems so interesting. And I really want to try it. So this is by Deborah Dar, however, The Sorcerer's Lady. That's amazing. Then I got Iris Johansson, The Golden Barbarian, which is probably not great. But I used to read some Iris Johansson. I've never read one of her historicals. And this one is from 1991. So we will see what this one means. But it was pretty. Behind Closed Doors by Bettina Cron. She has some beautiful covers. So this one is a peekaboo window into the bedroom. Whoop! Gotta love that. Vanity by Jane Feather. I love this one. And it's in the snow. Looks like they're going to duel maybe. I'm here for it. Wanted, Across Time by Eugenia Riley. So this one I think is supposed to be a time-traveling romance to the Old West. And, like, look at the back cover. So I had to try that one, too. Shelley Thatcher, his golden, or his forbidden touch. And this one, I told Crystal, this one reminded me of her. I don't know, just the purples and the red hair. Like, for some reason I saw it and I was like, Crystal, this chick reminds me of you. And there's a horse in the background too. So, and this one is the dark swordsman swore to protect a princess, not to fall in love with her. And like someone wrote a note in it and all they did was write fantastic or excellent. So I was like, all right, cool. We'll try this. So I'm going to give this one a go. 1302 France. But it's so pretty. Then these final two, they will probably be a Stepbacks Saturday at some point, so remember that. So there's Angel in Marble by Elaine Kaufman. This is actually another Elaine Kaufman, which is funny. And this is the inside. Look at, there is a voyeur piglet. Look at the piglet. Oh, it's gorgeous. I just love that windswept. It's beautiful. And then this one is Sweet Hannah Rose by Lori Copeland. And this one is just on a horse and this dress. And I'm just, it's fantastic. So there we go. I filled this back up with everything, and that is the book haul for the end of December and the first couple days of January. Thank you to everyone who sent me gifts. You are too kind. I was very blessed this Christmas season, and I'm so thankful for you all. So thank you so much for watching this. I also do want to do a shout out to a new channel member at the Fated Mate level, is Lover of Romance. So thank you so much for joining the channel. It means so much to me that you would care and you would put your money behind my channel. It means a lot. Yeah, if you want to see more of me, make sure you check out channel memberships and see if you're interested. Check out all my socials listed down below in my link tree, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.